we hear that we will start soon. And there is the first match of this tournament. There are more than 150 players here playing for the modern main event. I'm so excited.
Exactly. And it is Hardened Scales deck against Elves deck. The Hardened Scales is in the hands of Mattia Grandi, and the Elves deck is in the hand of Christian Mettauer. And Grandi, I know he is from Ticino. I don't know if Christian has to be like Swiss German part representative, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Well, it sounds so well.
It
I
is.
don't know him personally, but
It should be like this.
yeah. So, what do you think about the matchup that we got here with these two green-based decks?
I think it's. I didn't play this matchup, but looking at the thinking about the deck list, it's kind of easy to think at the card that should be the best
Mm.
in the matchup.
What do you think?
It's a ballista, I think.
Yeah, the ballista is super sweet.
Ballista against little elves.
Yeah, it could be a real big threat.
I mean, I think the matchup develops a lot about this. I mean,
Yeah.
a crazy start of Hardened Scales with Hardened Scales on turn one. It's hard to beat, but we have to say also that Elves is pretty fast on his good rows.
Mm.
And I think the difference can be like the Ballista. The Ballista is like crazy good against Elves, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
So maybe we don't see that much removal here in this matchup. So there's more like having the speed.
Yeah.
So how important do you think is winning the dice roll to begin in this match?
It's really important in modern overall.
Yeah.
That's a discussion about modern in general. A lot of people say like modern could be like better and worse, but the die roll is like really heavy.
Yeah.
But I still think like it will be like a rush, like trying to get to. Both decks have like clear plans about what they want to do, and I mean, both decks will do their plan and see what happens. The difference between the two plans is the ballista, in my opinion, because one of the two decks has a possibility to disrupt the other plan. The question is how fast the other plan will be. And okay, there is a mulligan from Christian and a mulligan from Mattia. Let's see what happens now. I mean, like, it should be ballista should be like the role. I
But
don't know how many dismember they play now or things like that. I don't know
yeah.
if they play it.
Well, what do you think? It could be a 3-off or more maybe a 4-off already in this deck.
Of ballista,
Yeah.
for sure a 4 off.
For sure,
I think.
4-off.
Yeah. It's like one of the crazy good cards.
Yeah.
It's like maybe the the card that makes the deck with Hardened Scales and the Ravager. I
Yeah.
think these are the three cards. Then there is also Hungerback, but still. Let's see. This new Mulligan rule, new is not anymore the right word, but still, it makes a huge difference in modern, I would say.
Yeah, so are you happy about the new Mulligan rule? What do you
Yes,
think about it?
I'm really happy about the new modern Mulligan rule. It's better in other formats than in modern, I have to say. But I still think in modern it's just a question of adapting to new things.
Yeah.
It's different. I agree that it is different, but not always what's different is worse. It's just different. I think in some formats it's clearly great,
Yeah.
and in modern I don't see the difference. I
Yeah.
mean, it makes things different, but I don't see the difference between before and now. I mean, both situations are.
Oh, again a mulligan for Mattia Grandi.
Yeah.
He's going down to 5.
5 cards for Mattia. Searching the the ballista, maybe. I don't know. I think they should play for ballista, but I don't know the recent deck lists.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We will see the deck list soon. This way we have more information about it.
So we were talking about the mulligan room, so you didn't see that much changes here in the modern format.
No,
People were scared at the beginning because
No,
Tron
no.
could be more consistent and so on.
No, I'm saying something different. It's not that I don't see the change. It's a huge change. It's
Okay.
crazy change.
Yeah.
But the crazy change doesn't make it that it is. The format has to adapt, and things are different from before. But it is not that the format is worse or better because of the new Mulligan rule. In my
No,
opinion.
it's just a part of it.
I think it's just a different format. We are speaking about something different, and That's what I think. It's huge. The difference is huge, and some decks are better and some decks are worse. That's clear to me. But
So we started here for Elves. The player Christian Mettauer, he starts with a Temple Garden here and he's shocked. So what will be?
yeah, probably the Temple Garden is, I think, for the sideboard more than the main deck. Um, it depends what he plays from the sideboard, but white is always like the crazy good color for the sideboard cards.
Yep. So
Uh,
also very good start here for Mattia
for
Grandi.
both, I would say.
Yeah.
Land Elf is the perfect start for Elves, and Land Hardened Scales is the perfect start for Hardened Scales.
So
The difference is there are more Elves, one mana Elves than Hardened Scales, but still.
yes. So he's already has access to 3 mana, but using 1 mana again for another Elvish Mystic. So actually, there's another white a land that also produces white mana. So I'm really excited to see what there will come in. Maybe, as you said, maybe from the sideboard, which could also be some white action.
Yeah, it could be like Stony Silence, it could be some creatures, because it's a deck that uses a lot of creatures because normally they play collective. um, to look at the top 5, 6 cards and take 2 creatures that cost 3 or less. And they have a ton of creatures in the deck, and they don't want to load the count of creatures in the deck too much.
Mm.
This way, maybe they have some other good creatures in the sideboard. Okay.
So there's real action going on for Mattia Grandi now.
Yeah, this artifact makes a good work in the late game. It is crazy good. Now he will play a creature. He puts two counters on it, and he has the option to pay 1 mana to put a 1/1 into play.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. And he will pay it, I think, because he has not. He has to take. That's a situation where you mulligan to 5. You have to take advantage also for full. You have to full complete all what you can do with your cards, because 5 cards is not a lot this way. If you have the option to put a token into play, you will take it. You will take it, and
Yeah, and there's also some more food with these server tokens for the Arcbound Ravager,
yeah,
for
for
example,
all
which
the
is
great
very,
things.
very essential game plan for the Hardened Scales deck.
Yeah, I would say with a mulligan to 5, his hand is great until now,
Yeah, it
because
looks pretty sweet.
Hardened Scales, a good card that gives card advantage.
So there will be maybe a Coco Collect company
Yeah.
here for Christian Mettauer.
He takes 1 damage from his land and goes for a collect company.
So there is a lot of fodder to hit here with a collective company here for Christian Mettauer, and he finds 2 elves here. Maybe a very essential combo piece found.
I don't know which card it is. I am honest, and I don't see it.
Semi well. Oh, okay, he gets another token as well.
Oh, it's the 1/1. It's the 2/2 that puts a token if there are other elves with another pictures. That's one of the problems for when you stream, that they are doing a lot of different pictures on the cards, and
Yeah.
it's hard to remember.
But it's very interesting. He does well. Elves, as we know the deck, it's also very powerful, very strong, very fast. But there is like another plan of maybe building the board now at the moment, maybe waiting for some more combo stuff, which also looks very interesting now. And yeah, but on the other side, we just have a servo token and and the small and the 2/2 creature. So maybe this could also be next swing in the next a great swing in the next round.
I think this situation is really favorable to. If he has still something to do, the Argentine Scales player has a really good situation at the moment.
Okay.
Because he's kind of out of gas, Christian. He has just the land to sacrifice for drawing a card. He has a lot of things into play, but there are things that do nothing.
Small creatures just.
It's small creatures that just interact really badly with tokens, interact really badly with creatures that when they die, they put other creatures into play. At the moment, it seems like he has a great board, Christian, but if he doesn't draw something really concrete, something that pumps his team or something like that, it's really hard to get out of this situation.
Yeah.
Now the things that, whoa,
And there is
that's
also already an attack.
okay. That's pretty aggressive, in my opinion.
So both players outhanded both players here with a lot of things on the board. And we also have to think about that both players really had to do mulligan and a second mulligan for Mattia as well.
Okay, that's a block. I think Christian is pretty new to the game because he tapped his creature to block. But anyways, he blocked with a 2/2, and the token from the worker goes on the hangerback. This is 3 tokens because there is hardened scales into play. This way, his hangerback is now a 5/5.
But this is a big thing, this
Okay,
hang.
there is a mistake. Anyways, it makes no difference. Anyways, Nettle Sentinel should not untap. It should be tapped, but now it should untap because he played a 1/1 green creature
Yep.
that when it comes into play, Nettle Sentinel can untap.
Yeah.
He took another damage from the land. I think that was another little misplay because he probably had to tap three creatures just to play his creature. And having the possibility to sacrifice his land, I think, because
Yeah, so getting more gas from it. But maybe he thought about because of the visionary that he gets him a card as well. But
yeah, but
your line
he has no
seems
attack.
more reasonable, of course.
I think now if he attacks like this, the thing that will happen is just this turn elf die, the next turn.
He takes it. So he's taking all the damage here. So there was no block with Hangerback Walker. So how relevant do you see Hangerback Walker could become here in this matchup?
It depends if he blocks sometimes. Okay. Let's.
No.
Honestly, I don't understand exactly what's happening, because the block makes not a lot of the not blocking makes not a lot of sense to me because his opponent had 0 cards in his hand. Why should you not block
So
with the Hangerback?
there was no possibility for a comeback trick.
Yeah, but also if it was a combat trick, you are really happy to lose your your 5/5 that puts 5 token into play
They
at the
give
moment.
some more gas, yeah.
Yeah, because he cannot go for a kill at the moment. That's why I don't understand. Maybe if you don't block and then you say, yeah, he's dead. He has no cards in his hand. His land that can draw a card is tapped. Why should I just don't block? And
So there's a Switchback in the red zone with the Hangerback Walker. So maybe there could be some more action here for Christian Mettauer. Oh, he's drawing another land.
yeah, the Nettle Sentinel should be tapped. He draws a card from the Canopy Vista.
And he gets 4 more mana.
Yeah, he searches for with the fetch.
So maybe thinning out the deck could also be some strategies for aggressive decks. Fetching, even if maybe he doesn't need it, maybe he need. Well, he has so many elves, he wouldn't not need much more mana from the mana base.
He has a lot. He has a lot of mana at the moment. He has
a lot of mana.
6 mana from the elves, and if he plays a green card, there is the synergy in the elf deck with a elf that gives 3 mana, tapping 3 elves, and the Nettle Sentinel. That should not be untapped. He taps 3 elves. He can tap the Nettle Sentinel and 2 other elves, then play a green card, and he has the Nettle Sentinel untapped and the new creature that he played. This way, he just lost one of the creatures that gave mana in this process. This way, it should work out fine. That's
So what's that? I don't know.
the elf lord +1/+1 to the elves, and if you tap him, he gives mana for the elves into play, I think. Or
special artwork.
yes, it's another special artwork. I think it is that. We have to look at the situation. Let's count if Mattia has the win the next turn, because I think he has the win the next turn. because Mattia in this moment can sacrifice the the tokens, the three servos and the mox to the Ravager, and the Ravager gets 2 tokens each. This
Yep.
way, it will get 8 tokens. 8 tokens, Ravager is a 10-10. Then, if he wants, he can still sacrifice like the Angerbeck, and it's a 12-12 the Ravager. Then he has 5 tokens into play with flying. He can sacrifice them like all except one, and his artifact, the animation module, to the Ravager still, and have a 1/1, and he puts like 20 tokens on it and attacks for 21. That's what he can do the next turn. Um, that what probably happens. I don't know. Maybe. Christian has no cards in his hand. This way, this should be
Like a safe way
game
to
over.
play. Yeah, so I mean, he's already at 8 life, so he has to do something now. So
Killing
let's
your
see.
opponent is pretty a good thing to
It's
do.
pretty a good thing, and he's untapping again with everything. There's another Hardened Scales.
Okay, he can still win in this turn with the Nexus.
Yes.
He can animate the Nexus and kill him.
So they are just 14 damage to do with one swing.
He can
actually
do
with
with the
two,
second Hardened Scales. He can do like
so
more
many
than
damage.
30.
So it's okay. This is definitely the
That's the
plane.
moment. Okay, he will probably sacrifice Hungerback now, or the Mox after the attack. He's asking if he has something in the hand that he doesn't see or something like that, and he is explaining what happens now. He sacrificed the Hungerback to the Ravager. Ravager takes 3 tokens because of 2 Hardened Scales, and it goes to 11. Hungerback puts 5 tokens into play. These tokens are artifacts that he can sacrifice to Ravager. These are like 15 more tokens on the Ravager. Ravager can be a 26-26. Then you can sacrifice also the Mox, and then it is a 29-29. And then you can sacrifice animation module, and it's a 32-32.
Wow,
And then you can sacrifice Ravager,
that's
and
a huge thing.
it's a 33-33 Nexus that hits your face, Christian. It is sad moment for you, but I think this will happen.
So actually, it was really interesting to see a player going down to 5 cards, but still being able to build such a board. And this
Yeah.
is maybe also the strength
Yeah.
of these cards, the cheap cards that this Hardened Scales deck has in.
That's the strength of the new mulligan that we were speaking about before.
Mhm.
I mean, having a deck that is relying a lot. Yeah, he just it does it easy. It was 11 tokens. He sacrificed the Ravager. It's more tokens because it's 2 more that I miscounted before. It's 2 more when he sacrificed the Ravager. The 2 tokens go on the creatures. This way, Hardened Scales put 2 more, and it is 14 exacties. Anyways, I was speaking about the fact that if you mulligan to 5 and you have a card that is so insane in your deck, that is Hardened Scales.
Yeah,
If you find it, also if you have 5 cards,
you're still happy.
it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's like when you play Throne and you have all the 3 pieces. If you have the 3 pieces and Karn and
I
Karn,
mean, you just
it's
need the 4 cards.
4 cards.
And
Easy,
you have some
easy,
action in
easy,
turn 4, of course.
easy,
And
easy.
turn 3.
Yeah, it's a turn 3 Karn, and your opponent has to.
So this was game for Mattia Grandi. Congratulations for the first game here at Swiss Magic Masters, which goes to the Ticino.
Yeah, Ticino has the first game. Ticino has the first game. Um, yeah, it's a tough thing for Christian. He seems pretty new to this. This way, it's a tough to understand what's happening with the Hardened Scales deck. There are so many different decks in Modern. You need a lot of time to to find to understand
Yeah.
all of them, how they work, and
Even after some years, it's very difficult to
yeah.
understand how everything works.
Yeah, it's easy. It's not
Because it's
easy.
always so diverse and it's changing a lot. There's
Yeah.
so many new sets. There are so many master sets in the last
Yeah,
year and so on.
that's
It's,
something that didn't happen a lot to this format. There were
Yep.
pretty like not changing a lot in the time, and you could stay just relaxed with your deck for like years. Now it's more like, oh, something new is happening.
Yeah.
Help, help.
But you really have to be active
Yeah,
in this way in keeping up your deck. I mean, also older decks, like for example my Giant deck that had some new additions with
yeah,
Ren and 6 and so on, which was very
yeah.
great.
And the
But
Plague Engineer also from the sideboard
yes,
is
from the
pretty good.
sideboard. But there's also Collector Oof, for example,
Yeah.
I really love.
Yeah,
But
Christian just speaking about the collector hoof,
yeah,
it's a card that just Christian just put in from the sideboard,
yeah,
and it is obviously great against
yeah,
against Mattia.
there's a
It's
lot of things.
yeah, it's great against Mattia. I mean, he, one of the things that Elves does good is looking at a lot of cards with a collective company. Because with the company you can look six more cards in your deck. This way, if you have the oof and four companies in the deck,
So
you
there's a
can
big
get there.
chance.
You can get there, yeah. And if Mattia has no answer to this, or if he didn't develop the board fast enough, because we have to say it oof can get down on turn two, but if it is with collective company, it is more like turn
Yeah, it's a little
three,
bit later.
four. It's a little bit later. And we saw that Hardened Scales can do a lot of stuff early.
Yeah, and I mean, Hardened Scales still the enchantment is so good. I mean, the creatures they are just entering. Well, if there is a collector oof on the side for Christian, well, there is even it's giving more counters on the creatures as well. So it's still doing something and making things bigger. It's not that good, of
No,
course, but it's not just
I agree with you, but at the same time, it is like it will be it can be a longer game. That's the Matthias deck creates still decent creatures with Hoof into play or Song of Silence into play, but then it's not good at finishing the game without the possibility to sacrifice things
mm,
or to deal damage with a ballista or things like that. That's the difference. Christian has the ways to to finish the game,
he has the combo.
but we didn't see the creatures that pump the team.
Mm.
Like there is the Lord that gives +1/+1, but there is also the guy that for 5 mana you can give +3/+3 and
And
trample
trample.
to your creatures, and that should be a good way to end the game pretty quickly. Let's look if we can see something from Christian's hand. Let's see if he gives us something to speak about.
It would be also very interesting to see. I want to see what this white is doing. Is it just for the canopy? I cannot understand. There would not be just
No,
on the
no, no.
temple garden, but I'm very interested to see for what this white color
I
is.
think it's 0 cards in the main deck, I think, but I'm not sure about it. But I saw a lot of decks, the white decks that could also just play. A lot of the elves deck play like black for the he's taking black
Is
for the 3/2 that drains life for the
yeah.
elves that you have into play, and then he plays white just for the sideboard, and it could be like Boranton Fortune Tender, it could be like Kataki, it could be cards like Stony Silence, Rest in Peace. White is just insane in the sideboard. I mean, White has just insanely good cards as a sideboard.
Ooh.
Ooh, it's another time. Start with the Hardened Scales for turn one for Mattia Grandi.
So Christian has access to 3 mana. So what will be the next play?
Okay,
We have tapping for 2.
he's asking which creature type he choose with the cavern. I think.
Maybe elves. I'm not sure about that.
I think, but that was the question. I think.
Yeah,
Looking at it.
yeah. I think so. The same. And there is collector. Ooh,
Oh, Collector Roof on turn two. That's painful for Mattia.
that's really
Painful.
painful.
That's painful for Mattia because that's pretty fast. But I saw in Mattia's hand another Hardened Scales, I think. And as we said
And
before,
Dark Wild Ravager as well.
yeah, and other random creatures that get a lot of counters with Hardened Scales.
Yes.
This way, now the game, if the game goes like this, I think. The game goes, or he has creatures big
Oh,
enough to attack just with 3 trees, because at the moment, Mattia is better at doing pressure than Christian. Because if he plays a creature, a normal, oh, he has also dismember in his hand. Easy life for Mattia, I would say. Anyways, if the game was without dismember, it was like him playing just an Arcbound Ravager. All creatures are like 3/3s that when they die, they just put 5 tokens on another creature.
Yeah,
Be-
so
uh,
things are getting bigger and bigger here.
yeah, this way now it's more like the elf deck has not just to put a problem, but it has also to put an end to the game.
Yep.
Because if the game takes long, he will not get in a. Okay,
And there's the dismember.
yeah, that's the dismember. He takes 4 damage, but this is, in my opinion, a good thing for the elf deck, and that's strange. Why? Because I think the way how he can win is playing his plan at the moment. Because I don't think that Oof would be a huge problem without with the elf deck just playing the fair game. He cannot play the fair game. He has to play like going big with mana and doing
Big and
crazy stuff.
finest
Yeah,
combo.
yeah, doing his stuff. This way, the dismember going on the Oof is good, obviously, for Mattia. He can develop more his things and so on. But with the elf lord into play that gives mana for each elf, Christian could just go like over the top with another elf that pumps his team and so on, and get there
Yep.
with. That's one of the possibilities.
So there's already a big boy here with 3 counters on it.
Okay, as a lesson for Magic, always if you choose to play the card that looks at the top 5 cards of your deck and takes 1 card, always play that card before the card that you play in your turn, because you could find something that you want to play before the worker. Now he played a worker and he played a card that draws cards. This way, if you have a card that draws cards and you are sure that you will play it on your turn, you should play the card that draws cards before the spell. Always. That's a rule.
This makes sense. So he found the module.
Sentinel will not untap, but it will still untap. Okay. Someone has to say something to Christian about this Nettle Sentinel, I think, before the next round.
So now there's Upstone Elves.
He takes 2 damage with the Temple.
So he has access to a lot of mana now.
Sure.
I'm really interested to see when does he starts to explode with his little elves. Or at the beginning, little elves, they can get so big fast.
At the end, exploding is the tutu that pumps the team or collective company. He has to draw these cards. I don't know his hand. I don't see it, but let's take a look if we see something. Let's take a peek. It seems hard to see something. But anyways, the cards that make the difference now is collected company that hits something really good. That's one thing that makes a difference. Nettle Sentinel. Okay, he takes 3 mana. Is
Maybe
this
we
a
get
company?
another one.
I think so. 4.
Yes, this for
Yeah,
sure is coming.
it's a company. Now Nettle Sentinel is untapped. Just
Yeah, because he will definitely find something with his deck.
yes. Okay.
Oh,
He will destroy target enchantment or artifact.
that's a strong card in this matchup.
It's a strong card, but if it is the only hit, it's not great. He is asking what this card does. I
Because it
think
was
it's in
Chinese or
Chinese or
Japanese.
Japanese. It is a 2/1 elf for 3 mana that when it comes into play, it destroys target enchantment or artifact.
So what would you choose here from now from this position? I
That's
mean,
hard.
yes, it's free, but I mean the other hardness gates could also be very interesting as a target for his new elf. So
I think
what would you
honestly,
choose?
I think the right target is the worker. And it is strange because normally the right target should be like the Arden Skates. But in this position, I don't see him winning with not attacking. Like,
Yeah,
it depends what was the other card on the company.
it
If he,
is
yeah, so
again the
it's that's not extremely relevant at the
no,
moment
not at
if
the
he has
moment.
not like great cards in his hand.
He needs Azuri in this state board if you really want to go
Yeah,
for
is
heart attack.
and now it's. I think he made the correct play taking out the 3/3 because he wants to attack.
And now it's
It's
his stage.
in a situation where he can attack.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things that he had to do is attacking first and then playing the 3/2, just because then he can untap his Nettle Sentinel.
So at this point that you really like to have an eye on it.
Yeah, it's relevant.
Yeah, it's definitely relevant.
I lost tournaments because of Nettle Sentinel not untapping. It's
So there's the Arcbound Ravager in the hand for Mattia Grandi. Um, Still interesting. Oh, and he found another worker.
yeah, that's a solid board. Double worker, double 3/3. That when he dies, it becomes the other guy gets 5 tokens and this
Yeah,
8/8.
this could be a big. Oh, and he's cleaning here,
Yeah,
so we stay
because
1-1 here.
double creature was not enough against this. It was still 8 damage to his face. This way, we are 1-1.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure. Well, at the beginning it was like the normal start for the Elves deck. It was land, shock land. Then he made the Elvish Mystic. But then things went so fast, and this collective company was like the card that he really needed in this position to bring in some more
He
stuff,
did a
more
lot of
food, and more
things.
power.
He put 2 creatures into play. This way, it's 2 more damage with the Black Marine Shaman.
Yeah,
And one of the 2 creatures hit the creature from Mattia. This way, he took out the blocker. It's 3 more damage with the Sentinel. Totally, it's 5 more damage. It's a lot of damage.
it's a
And
lot of damage.
the problem against elves is you normally have good blockers against them. But if you have 2 creatures and your opponent has 8 creatures, that's still a lot of damage that will come
Definitely.
to your face. You have always positive blocks and you normally kill his creatures, but at the end you take a load of damage to your face, and it's really hard to not overcome the aggressive elves that go to your face and try to hit you. Okay.
So I see a Mox Opal in hand for Mattia.
Ma-
I see
Torpor
it's
Orb
a
in Matthias'
Ravager.
hand, I think.
There's a Mulligan for Christian.
I don't know if there's a Torpor Orb, but it seems like a Torpor Orb. Yeah, it's. It was a strange game, yeah. I think one of the problems for Mattia was like being stuck on 2 lands.
Yeah.
I mean, if he could develop 2 creatures the turn where he played look at the top 5 cards and take a card, he played just 1 creature. He he put great cards into play, but
Yeah.
nothing real.
Nothing green, but the speed was also very well. Christian was very fast in this
Yeah,
matchup.
sure.
So this is what elves do actually. And he was not even he didn't even use the combo, so he was not really relied on that.
I mean, that was, in my opinion, like a good start for Home Elves, but it was like a normal start.
Yeah.
That's like but we are speaking about decks that have really few attrition, like few answer to your opponent cards. This way, you do your plan, I do my plan, and let's see who is the guy that has the best start. Okay.
Nettle Sentinel again for Christian. And there's another Mox. What do you think about the current positioning of Elves deck in the modern meta? Because it's a deck that we don't see that often here.
I think we are speaking about modern. This way, it's like there are like 30 different decks that are positioned, or at least 20 decks that are positioned a little bit like elves. I mean, there are tier 3 decks that are fine, decent. One of the things that elves is not really good at is playing against Brennan 6.
Yeah,
I think
that's definitely.
it depends how many jump decks are around and so on. I think it's a good Dire 3 deck. It's not a great deck.
Mm.
It's just fine. I mean, it's a fine choice. In Modern, one of the good things about Modern is you can choose a deck that you like and you can play
Yes.
that deck.
Yeah.
Maybe it will not be the best deck, but it will be fine, at least fine. And that's great, I think, from Modern. You can choose whatever you want and you have some possibility to play your deck.
Oh, there is a second ARP out Ravager for Mattia on the left side. So he's already in shape here. Ah, and he sacrificed his other Mox Opal, making the first ARP out Ravager at 2-2. And now he has access to green mana as well. And it's again. Is it a Mox Opal in hand? I was not that sure. Ah, he sacrifices. And there's the third Mox Opal. Well,
And that's the Torpor Orb I
it's not
said
the
before.
best, but at least what to do with it, and it's a Torpor Orb, yeah.
I didn't check. Is the Nexus was already the Nexus in play? Yeah,
Yeah, it
he
was.
cast. Yeah, this way he can attack for 5 with the Nexus now if he
Yeah,
wants.
that's what he does.
It's more than 5. It's 6. I think I would do that. I think I would. I mean, you have to.
But maybe it's also a little bit of glass cannon. But is there anything from? I don't think there is
You
anything
can
from the
play
elf deck.
around Dismember
Yeah,
because it's a 6/6. This way, I don't know how many instant artifact removals he has. And also, if he has like a Chord or a Company,
yeah,
it will not work with a Reclamation because there
exactly.
is
Because
Torpor
it's a
Orb.
land. I
There is Torpor Orb into play. This way, also, if he does it like Chord searching my creature, it will not work. Uh, Also, Company, it will not work. I think,
So there's a lot of things to do
yeah,
now.
I think you have to think about also just sacrificing the Mox Opal and
Maybe also the Citadel.
the Citadel on the. I think the two choices are putting 5 tokens on the Nexus like this, how he did, or sacrificing just like Mox and the Citadel and putting 4 counters, and this way having a 2 turn
Mm.
clock anyways, and having still the Ravager into play. But I think this was the correct play in my opinion. He can lose. I mean, if he has an artifact destruction spell, Christian, it will be a problem for Mattia. But
Mm.
we have to think also about the fact that the Christian has to stay. The correct play now is at least keeping a land open to make Mattia think that there is a
To make him a little bit
possibility.
scared
Yeah,
about.
because it would be scary, like just saying, like Christian untaps and say plays a land and says go. Would you attack?
That's very difficult because
It's
there
hard.
is not that much more gas on the battlefield for
Yeah.
Mattia at the moment, so
I would say
it's
there is no gas at the
it's very
moment.
difficult at this point. But I mean, Christian is still 4 or 5 cards in hand, so he can he can show or maybe just
Strength,
sign.
trying to show strength in this
Yes,
moment.
put your opponent in another
In
direction.
fear.
There's Jord of Calling in the hand for Christian
He
Mettauer.
has also the Arcbound, the elf. If he plays it, the game is over. I mean, now it also Ufi doesn't work because it's not an artifact to activate.
Yeah.
After it's an artifact, but an artifact that can still hit your face. That's a problem. That's a problem.
So Torborg is really doing a good job here in this matchup for Mattia Grandi.
Maybe it does. He's doing nothing, but
Yeah.
it's still.
Maybe a little bit of protection.
Yeah, it's a little bit of
I mean,
protection.
in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
in
I
this board
agree.
state, it's very important to have this protection. If
Yeah,
you're sitting a little bit in a glass cannon with one
yeah.
creature with
You try to
just
protect
land.
what you can protect.
So I mean, it's more important to protect this one.
Yeah, at the moment he doesn't need the protection
Mm.
because he has not the mana to play the Chord, and he has not the
There's the
mana.
fetch land not fetched yet.
Yeah, but still, it was a Chord for 2 that was not enough.
Mm.
Um, this game should be over, I think, if he plays what I think he is playing.
Yeah, maybe there's another surprise. Oh,
Yeah.
it's over.
Now
It's what
he
said.
wanted to play the 2-2 that was
Yeah,
1-1 into play. That's why the game was over, because he had a charge, but he could still charge just for two,
yeah, definitely.
and the torpor was still there this way.